So this question is from an inside counsel, wondering how's the best way to share um, status and updates for the patent program to the C-suite, to the executives. Um, and they have been using spreadsheets, and they're very complex and hard to parse, but that's generally what you'll get from your outside counsel who's developing your patent portfolio. You may work with several outside counsel too, and in that process, you're going to have multiple spreadsheets that maybe you have to collate together. Um, every firm seemingly has a different format that they use for these. So just the mechanics of updating all of this as new office actions come in, cases get issued, new ones get filed, it becomes a lot of work to keep it straight. And often companies will have an inventor bonus program for participating in the patent program. And they look at things like when cases are filed, when cases are issued, maybe when your invention disclosure form is approved by the enterprise or the patent committee. And those will be triggering events. And then you have to work with HR to make sure that they get paid out to the inventors. And I've seen it done quarterly, I've seen it done annually, it could be done monthly. So you have these spreadsheets you have to track for the purposes of any sort of inventor bonus program. But often you'll get requests from the executives to categorize the patent portfolio. And unfortunately, there's no real good dashboards for that sort of thing when you're working with Excel. And even if you merge together the three reports from the three outside counsel, it's hard to come up with totals and that without going through and manually counting it. And I'll tell you many times I've had to go through and that exercise of manually counting it, checking the spreadsheet, updating a spreadsheet. And it becomes, depending on the size of the portfolio, a full-time job. So there are better ways to go about doing it. One thing that you might do is if you're small enough, just use one firm. If you're using one firm, you end up with one report. And either your paralegal can generate some status or you can push that back on your law firm to go about doing that. There are tools, a Triangle IP tool, you can load in a portfolio, and it has dashboards where it will give you status on the portfolio as depending on which role you're in. But with the administrator role, for example, you get some pretty useful information and nice charts that are ready-made to show to executives. Another thing that you can do in a tool like that is you'll get weird requests from executives. Like one of them I had for a large patent portfolio that went back many, many years was how many patents related to mobile phones. And this company had enterprise software, SaaS software, and then they had come up with an app. Well, the app, as it turned out, used a lot of the technology that was developed many years earlier on other platforms. But it was before apps were ubiquitous, so none of the patents really talked about apps. But the innovation was very applicable and covered what was happening in the app. So it becomes really hard to track things like that. Or one thing you can do in the Triangle tool is you can put tags on cases. The tag can be really anything. It can be that this innovation is related to the mobile phone or this app or this version of the app or this product or that product. So you can go through there, and if you've had to review the portfolio for a question like that, if you'll go through and tag all of the records, next time you can just simply do a search and filter out the ones that relate to mobile phone or app or this product or that product. So In the C-suite, they really don't understand so much the mechanics of patents in many cases. Um, but they want to know status. Are we filing? How many patents did we file last year? Is the trend going up or down? Are we filing more in this area or that area? And tags can be helpful in that regard. As if you tag up and start using this tag, like mobile phones. This particular client really wanted to know it related to mobile phones. So every time we filed a new case, if it related to mobile phones, we added that tag in there. So we could answer that question in 20 seconds when we're logged into the triangle tool. Um, and you can break up the portfolio in any way. But generally, you'll have executive visibility into a couple areas that are maybe strategic for growth, or maybe there's a battle with a competitor. So you regularly get a question of categorizing the patent portfolio. And if you have even 50 patents or more, thousands of patents, it is a lot of work to figure that out. So, um, in any event, spreadsheets are laborious when it comes to managing a portfolio. And I've seen some of the largest portfolios on earth be managed by a single spreadsheet, um, where different paralegals, this particular client had dozens of paralegals working and dozens of patent attorneys mining for new innovation. And they shared one spreadsheet. So they had to pass it around, 20 minutes at a time um, to update it. So you really need some sort of SaaS-based tool where multiple people can edit at the same time, multiple people can work with the information at the same time, so that people aren't stepping on people's toes. And if it's simple enough to use, like the triangle tool, the executive might want to just get in there themselves and see what's going on with the portfolio, and get some status in that way. That's one of our goals when we designed the tool, was to make it so that an executive could manage a patent portfolio. And you didn't necessarily need to be a patent attorney or a paralegal with tons of experience in the area, which is really the case right now, as everybody pretty quickly to get answers is either hiring internal staff or asking their outside counsel to do it, and they get billed hourly for that. It ends up being quite expensive. So at any rate, I hope that answers the question. Don't forget to hit the like button if you got something out of this video, and please subscribe to the channel.